Your guess was correct. Of course I'm wearing this shirt for this review. Alright, for those of you who might not know, I have been a Pokemon fan my entire life. And now the day has finally come where we actually have a live action Pokemon movie. I was nervous going in, so how was it? Pokemon Detective Pikachu. So Pokemon Detective Pikachu, as I said, it's the first live-action Pokemon movie some of us Poke fans have waited for our entire lives. It's actually based off of a spin-off game, and to be fair, I did play the free demo version like a couple days ago, just to get the general gist of it, and it actually was pretty fun. The main character is the same as Tim Goodman in the movie. He's played by Justice Smith. He's kind of damaged, he's kind of bitter. His father, Harry, is missing, so when he goes to his apartment in Rhyme City, he bumps into this talking Pikachu voiced by Ryan Reynolds, which is, you know, a big selling point to this movie. He's a loudmouth, he's wisecracking, he's addicted to caffeine, and Tim can actually understand what he's saying, which is not normal for a Pokemon. So together they go on this adventure with a hopeful young reporter named Lucy Stevens and her Psyduck, and they try to solve the mystery of Tim's missing father. And now we have our first live-action Pokemon movie. No pressure. Now, I don't know what the general consensus of this movie's gonna be, but coming from this old-school Pokemon fan, I was let down by this movie. I mean, the characters are fine, you know, Tim Goodman, he's a relatable character enough, but the character of Detective Pikachu himself actually ended up kind of annoying me in a few scenes. It's kind of funny because there will be scenes where, you know, like Tim is trying to talk to someone else and Pikachu will just butt in with these side comments that are supposed to be funny, you know, haha, humor. But during those scenes, I would just imagine what the person Tim is talking to is hearing. Because the dialogue would go by pretty fast, so you would hear, oh, English language this, English language that, and then imagine you would hear Pika Pika between like every other line. But of course, you do end up really liking and caring about this Pikachu character. Because first of all, Pikachu is cute, can't deny that. And secondly, the story does give you enough reason to be like, oh yeah, alright, I see where you're coming from, Pikachu. But Catherine Newton as Lucy Stevens, oh, okay, she annoyed me a lot. She annoyed me because she was trying to come off as more than what she was. Like, her first scene in this movie, she shows up, she's like, I know exactly what I'm doing. And she really didn't, and I saw right through it. I was like, get off your high horse. And she's like that throughout most of the movie. But really, I'm just gonna cut to the chase with this movie. The concept of live-action Pokemon, to me, was a flawed concept from the beginning. Because you know the rules in animation versus live-action, they're different. There are certain things in animation that you can get away with, where if you try to translate it to live-action, it doesn't work as well. And a lot of things in this movie didn't really work for me. Like the rules of how the Pokemon world works. The rules that I know anyway, since I've grown up with Pokemon all my life and I know this stuff. There were some scenes in this movie where I was like, well, that's not how that would happen in the real Pokemon world. Now again, I know the fact that it does not accurately follow its source material doesn't make it a bad movie. Like Jurassic Park, it does not accurately follow the original Jurassic Park book as much as I know, but people still love the movie. I'm just saying it bothered me as a hardcore fan, and I'm pretty sure other Poke fans are gonna feel the same way. I mean, yeah, in some cases, seeing live-action Pokemon do their thing was pretty cool. I was like, oh, that's cool, you know, seeing Greninja using his water shuriken, but most of the time it was just weird. Like, that doesn't look right. And then, of course, there's the fan service. Of course there's fan service in this movie. You can't make a live-action Pokemon movie without there being fan service. There are some throwbacks to like the earlier Pokemon films, which is funny because I was watching the first movie like earlier today, and it's still great, by the way. I mean, it's still dated 90s stuff, but it's nostalgically great. And sometimes there are lines that someone will say, I'll be like, oh, that's a throwback to the first movie. All right. Points for authenticity. It's like this movie actually does take place in the real Pokemon world. Like it's canon. Because you'll hear someone spit out a line about the Kanto region or something. I want to know what region Rhyme City is in. I don't know. But one of the biggest problems in this movie is a problem that all live action big budget films under 2 hours have. Which I always say, if it's live action with a big budget and it's under 2 hours long, that's a red flag because it's going to feel rushed. And sure enough, this movie felt rushed. Like the beginning of the movie, scenes are going by so fast. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, all right, movie, slow down. I've said this so many times in reviews. Like there's a little prologue scene before we dive into the main story. And normally you would expect like prologue scenes to last, I don't know, a few minutes, 5, maybe even 10. This one was like a minute or two long. It was short because I felt like it was going by so fast. I don't know, that's just how I felt. And it just, that's a few points off. The biggest letdown of this movie for me was the story. You know, it was a fine story in the first half, but then later in the movie, the story decides to go in a direction I thought was, oh, it was stupid. There's no other way to say it, I just thought it was dumb. It was something that I'd never seen in any Pokemon anything before. Well, actually that's not entirely true. But the way it was done in this movie, I was like, no, that's not working for me. What can I say? I didn't like the way it was executed. It was just so bad. I'll say the music was pretty good though. Henry Jackman did the score. He's a really good composer. I love his work. The score itself, you know, it was electronic, cool sounding stuff. Some of it reminded me of an 8-bit video game, which is what the first few Pokemon games were. And I was wondering if the themes from either the games or the TV show would be included, and they're both included in this movie. So keep your ears peeled for those, if you're a fan. So in the end, I was really let down by Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I mean, it was cool to see some stuff brought to live action, because I was like, oh yeah, look at that, you know, nostalgia. But for most of the movie, I felt uncomfortable watching it. I I was like, this is weird. This is like not where it belongs. The world of Pokemon should stay animated. That's my official quote. The characters were fine enough and I liked the music, but just the environment and the aesthetic of it all and the stupid direction the story goes in, just, nope. No, not for me. So for Pokemon Detective Pikachu, I will say, wait until you can watch this movie on Netflix. I didn't even stick around after the credits, so I can't tell you if there's a post-credits scene or not. I can tell you there's no mid-credits scene, but I really just didn't care to find out if there was a post-credits one. So Pokemon Detective Pikachu, have you seen it yet? What did you think about it? Or have you played the Detective Pikachu game? What did you think about it? Should I get the full version? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.